blades in the back of your shoulder or the rotator cuff, the external rotators on the rotator cuff of your shoulder. Now we're going to do some triceps work. So I'm going to take my elbows straight out back behind me, and I'm going to just simply straighten my arms. So my elbows are out as high as I can behind me, and I'm just going to straighten the arms with the weights in them. Just do a few of those. Okay, now let's just keep the arms straight. We'll hang them down by our sides. And now we're just going to remember our posture, put our shoulders down and back, chin tucked in, and we're going to take the straight arm back. This time we're working the back of our shoulders and into our back, between our shoulder blades. So I'll show you what that looks like from behind. My shoulder blades are squeezing together. And this is a bit of a neglected area, so we'll just do a few more of those. This helps us prevent slouching. Slouching's never a good look, is it? No matter how old you are. I hope you're enjoying the sound of the waves and the breeze in the background, and I hope it's not overpowering my voice. Okay, let's change that up. We're going to do a little bit of, well, I guess you could call it boxing. It's not really going to be boxing. It's like boxing in slow motion. So let's take the arm back and push and pull back, then push with the other one. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to be transferring my weight from one leg to the other. If your balance is not so good, you could actually do this leaning against something behind you so that you don't overbalance. You could just go like this. But because my balance is okay, I'm going to do it like this. So I'm placing my feet wider apart. I'm going to pull one arm back and I'm punching out, and then the other one comes out. And I'm keeping my arms around shoulder height. And if you can coordinate your breathing, as I'm punching outwards, I'm breathing outwards. And as I pull back, I'm breathing in. Now you don't have to hold your weights. If you find this is too demanding, then just use the weight of your arms, not anything else. But if you want to work in a few weights, this is a way of doing it. Okay, that's enough of that one. I'm going to put my weights down for a minute. And now we're just going to do a little bit of flexibility. So I'm just going to take my arms up, breathing in, and then I'm going to go down to the side, just down to one side, like I'm moving along a wall, really. I think I was standing in front of a wall or a window and just tracing down it. So I'm going to breathe in as I go up, and breathe out as I go down. People think of these as painting the rainbow. Okay, let's try something else now. We've got a lovely handrail here, so let's make use of that. I'm going to do some squats against the rail. Now, if you're in a chair, if you're doing these things in a chair, you could just use the chair and do a little squat like this off the chair. don't have to stand up if that's too much effort for you, or if you're not strong enough, you can just do a little stand up and use the chair to help you. Or if you want to, you can make it a stronger exercise and stand by a rail or a bench for support, and you can start to do those bending and straightening exercises for your legs. Now this exercise strengthens these muscles of your legs and these ones of the gluteals and your quadriceps. And I'm getting a fantastic view here. So I could just about do this all day. And if you want to make this harder, take your hands above the bench so you can still be safe, but you know, if you need to reach out and get some support, it's there for you. Challenge your balance with this as well. And if you're really confident, now this is only for the people who are really confident and really strong, you can grab those weights again and start to do a deeper sort of squat like that with the weights. And this is really great for your gluteals. So if you want to have a nice tight bottom, this is the one. But don't do anything unsafe. Please work to your own ability. Okay, that's the harder version. I'm going to go back to the easier version. So it can be like this. It can just be hands across the chest, or you could use the weight. Or you can have your hands above the rail, bench, or you can do it holding on. Holding on is the safest. Okay, let's change that exercise up now. We're going to take our leg straight leg back. So we're just clenching the cheek of our bottom and pushing back with our heel, straight back. Again, I can make this into a balance exercise if I want to. I'm going to bend my knees slightly, have my hands across my chest or above my bench, and I'm going to do it that way. That adds a dimension of balance as well as strengthening. Remember to stand up straight when you're doing this one. It's very tempting to bend over, isn't it? But try and stand up nice and tall. You need to have your support and reach for it. Otherwise, if you feel you're able to, you can challenge your balance. Let's swap legs. You might notice that one leg has better balance than the other. That's okay. Both a go. Okay, remember to keep the chest up tall. Okay, great. Now we can actually add some hamstrings work in there. People don't usually need much hamstrings work. To be honest, it's more of a straightening type muscles that are weaker. I'll show you what a hamstrings exercise looks like. If you were to bend your knee and just press straight back, you'd be doing some hamstrings work. I'm not going to dwell on that too long. I'll just show you what it looks like. Okay, so that's hamstrings. Now, a more useful exercise for function, for keeping yourself safe when you're walking, is to do some hip exercises. So the other day I showed you some warm-up exercises for our hips, and we were just rotating the hip joints. We're just leaning into them, rotating. We can draw sort of a semicircle with our hips, or you could go all the way around in a circle. Try that in the other direction as well. You can also warm up your hip joints by taking your foot out in front and pointing your heel in and out like that. Okay, so for this one we're lubricating the hip joint. We You know that like the shoulder, the hip is a ball and socket joint. Sometimes with arthritis, they have all sorts of abnormal growths, bony growths around them. So if you've got an arthritic hip or an arthritic shoulder, spend a bit of time in the morning warming it up. Let's try that on the other leg. So point the toe out and move the heel in and out. So you can see at the top of my hip here, top of my leg, my hip is rolling in and out. And that's lubricating the joint, getting warmed up for the day. Okay, let's go into that other hip exercise I wanted to show you. So we've got some sideways walking. We're going to keep our toes pointing directly forwards. Keep our body up tall, and we're just going to transfer our weight from one leg to the other. That's the most basic level of this exercise. If we want to make it harder, we can incorporate some strengthening and balance work into it. Notice I'm right next to my bench, so I'm going to bend my knees as I go down, straighten as I come up. So I'm bending and straightening, bending and straightening, and I can do it like this for more of a balance challenge. And of course, the lower you go down, the harder it is, the lower you bend. More challenge for your muscles. Now this is a very important one for your hip strength, because when you are just walking in everyday life, you're transferring your weight from one leg to the other, and you need strong hip muscles for that. The other good exercise for this sort of thing is taking your leg out like this. So you've all seen me do this if you've been watching this series of videos. There's an exercise where we soften the knee joint, so we're not jamming our knee joint surface on surface. We're just softening the knee joint of the supporting leg, and we're going to take the foot out to the side. Make sure that you hold onto your bench if your balance is dodgy. And it just looks like that. Now you don't need to take it out too far. You can see I'm only going about that far. Sometimes people go like this. They think it's doing a better job, but it's not. All you're doing is leaning over with your side, and the leg's really not moving that much more. So let's just make sure our body is up straight, and we're just taking the leg out to the side. And let's try that on the other side. So I can add a balance component to this one. I can bend my knees slightly on the supporting leg, and I can cross my hands on my chest. Remember to point your toes directly forwards. One of the errors that people commonly make in this exercise is that they point their toe outwards, like that sort of thing. That's not right for this exercise. What we want you to do is point your toe directly forwards, and then you'll activate the correct muscle. That muscle is called gluteus medius, just for those people who want more information. So we're softening the knee joint, keeping our body up nice and tall. Hold on to something if you need to, and just taking the leg out a little bit. If anything, you're leading with your heel, not your toe, to the side. Okay, I think that we have done probably more than our 15-minute bliss. Well, I'm calling it a bliss. It's also a blitz. Okay, let's finish off with some calf muscle strengthening. So this is also another really important exercise for when we're walking. When we want to take a step, we want to keep a spring in our step, we have to plant our toes into the floor and push off for the next step. So this is a very simple exercise for a lot of people. We just go up on our toes. And that's what it looks like. You can see my calves are activating. I'm taking my heels off the floor. I'm going to add a balance component to this one as well. So I can either put my hands above the rail, or I can cross my hands on my chest. And most people can do that quite well. If you've had a stroke, you might find this very challenging, because one of the things that happens after a stroke, people can get foot drop, and you may not be able to do that on the side that you've had a So just do your best. Another thing is, if you're still watching this and you're in your chair, you can adapt this exercise for sitting. You can just lift up your heels off the floor. Okay, so you can also make this exercise harder by staying up on your toes. So that's adding the balance component in there again, big balance challenge. We can make it even harder by just going up on one foot. So we're going up and down on one foot. Make sure, now most people over 65 will probably need to hold onto their rail for that. So please keep yourself safe. If you want to have a challenge, you can put your fingertip on or just go above the bench. And then try and stay up there. See how long you can stay up there. Count. So maybe I'll count for you. I don't know how many I can do. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll try the other one now. I think I might have to work on that. So I'm up on one toe, on one foot, on my toes. Ball on my foot. One. Oh no! Okay, it seems my left leg is better than my right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can see that is really, really challenging, and I dare anyone of any age to stay up there for longer than 20 seconds. Okay, that's the end of our beachside blitz, and thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you're enjoying the sound of the waves, and hopefully it's not drowning out my voice. See you next time.